is
Hello.
happening? ¿Cómo están?
Welcome back to another episode.
Un episodio más con estas pinches enfadosas.
Otro aquí nomás para pues charlar, platicar, pasarla bien con ustedes. Muchas gracias por escucharnos. Otra vez
de nuevo. Un día voy a hacer, yo pienso que un episodio donde voy a tener el acento de rancho.
Hijo de la madre.
El acento de rancho de allá de donde es mi familia, de Michoacán y Jalisco. El acento de Cotija.
I see you come prepared.
Ya, pura comisión, Irene Raza. Pura comisión federal. CFE, puro México.
Está bien.
Tengo amigos de yo te tiro, tú me tiras, yo te tiro. Shout out to my yo te tiro friends.
Nice.
Yo te tiro. Creo que es yo te tiro. But,
¿Tú me tiras?
Yo te tiro, tú me tiras, yo te tiro. ¡Ay! ¡Te tiro a las perras! Oh my God. Bueno, raza, estamos súper mega contentos de estar de nuevo en un episodio más.
Aquí de No Pues Guau.
Pues Guau. Donde hablamos de todo un poco y de un poco de todo. De todo un poco y un poco de todo.
Vale.
¿Verdad?
Yeah.
Listo.
Let's start with our
Saludcita.
cheers. So, cheers.
A los de yo te tiro. Tú me tiras, yo te tiro. Oh. What's going on
Perdón,
there?
Anyway.
Se le tiró poquito. Poquito.
So, para este episodio, I actually pulled an Instagram poll.
Yeah.
Because we were kind of wondering, okay, what should we talk about this episode? What should we do?
Yeah.
So, I pulled an Instagram poll. Is that what they're called? Sí, ¿verdad? Un poll.
Es un poll.
Un poll.
Poll.
Oh, poll.
Poll.
Ajá, es un poll.
Es un poll.
Entonces pregunté, hay una preguntilla que querían que
una
habláramos.
Encuesta.
Una encuesta.
¿Es una encuesta? ¿Es una encuesta?
Sí.
¿Sí es una encuesta?
O sea, una pregunta, pues. Ahí puse una pregunta que querían que... Like, what did you guys want for us to talk about?
Una story.
Una historia. Una historia en un post con un poll de un cuestionario en el Instagram.
Una oración.
Y en el Face. Ajá.
You know que dicen oración en español for a sentence?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
El sujeto y el
objetivo.
Predicado.
Yo soy predicadora. Amén, hermanos.
Amén.
Ojalá que Diosito me los esté bendiciendo la verdad, porque yo ahorita he estado con este sentimiento de agradecimiento con Dios por muchas cosas, ¿verdad? Pero más seguido he estado agradecida por mi familia. Bueno, mis hermanos, pues como estábamos hablando de Dios, nuestro Señor Jesucristo, Hijo único de Dios, nacido del Padre antes de todos los siglos, se metió el maldito diablo. Y nos quiso truncar.
Nos cortó la cámara.
Nos quiso truncar, pero no nos vamos a dejar porque aquí está el Todopoderoso. Mire, para empezar, aquí está. Salúdenlo. Cada vez que nos vean, persínense y salúdenlo. Así una persinadita para que Diosito me los bendiga. Y luego, miren. Traigan su cristito también. Su crucecita. Para que Dios esté con ustedes siempre. Bueno, siempre está con ustedes, pero para que esté más con ustedes. Para que lo tengan cerquitas, pues.
O sea, pues el énfasis, pues.
Para que lo sientan, pues.
Ajá. Y estabas muy agradecida. Right, what
sí,
you were
estaba
saying?
muy... Bueno, estoy muy agradecida porque como van pasando los días y el tiempo y mi trabajo, estoy viviendo una vida más de agradecimiento. Mi trabajo estamos trabajando ahorita con una comunidad muy vulnerable aquí en el condado, en mi trabajo. No me voy a meter a lo del trabajo, pero sí quiero decirles que estoy muy agradecida por todas las bendiciones que tengo en mi vida, porque Dios me ha permitido poder superarme, educarme, y gracias a mis padres y a mi familia y a mi sistema de apoyo y todo eso que yo tengo en mi vida. Y ahora con la encuesta que hicimos, íbamos a hablar de esta idea del social construct, ¿verdad? De la construcción social que tenemos en pie en la cultura mexicana, en la cultura latina. Y en la cultura...
No sé si esto va a aplicar para, como por ejemplo, todas las culturas.
No necesariamente, pero la cultura de experiencia, pues, de nosotros es la mexicana, ¿no?
Claro.
Y somos parte de la comunidad latina, pero la mexicana es la que nosotros that's what we resonate with.
Yeah, correct.
So yeah, just pretty much talking about the social construct of a lot of different things.
Last time we were kind of talking about like parenting styles and growing up with strict parents and how that reflected our lives today and how that impacted our lives today.
Yeah.
And a couple of things that I did want to talk about in this episode were suggestions. There were 2 things that were mentioned on there. One of them being getting married right away, or like in order for you to like live together.
Yes.
And in order for you to be a unit, that you need to be the pressure of getting married and having kids immediately.
En la cultura, or getting pregnant out of wedlock and then getting forced to get married.
Yeah.
I just had a very fruitful conversation with a coworker of mine who's actually really amazing. Her soul is just so beautiful. And we had this conversation. And I've seen it time and time again of this idea of ¿qué va a decir la gente? ¿Qué va a decir la gente de mi hija que se embarazó? Y ¿qué va a decir la gente? Y esa perra frase de el ¿qué va a decir la gente?
Sí, porque te van a juzgar.
Ha arruinado muchas vidas. Porque nosotros en teoría nacemos y nos ponen todas estas condiciones y instrucciones y nos ponen todo, nos regañan, nos dicen que hay reglas, pero cuando vienes a este país, este es un país de libertad. Se supone.
Pero no nomás tiene que ver con el país, mira.
Sí,
como por ejemplo,
claro.
I just want to give a full disclaimer, okay? Every podcast that we talk about, we're here to share our personal opinion, okay?
Yes.
You don't have to agree with it.
Yeah.
If you don't want to agree with it, don't. You follow you do you, follow your beliefs.
We are not here to personally attack anyone.
Or persuade anybody into believing, because I feel like what I'm here to talk about today in my thoughts is something that is different.
Personal to her.
Yes. And so then therefore does not mean it has to apply to you. But I think it's a great perspective here, kind of like debate-like. Because
yo estoy solteroski.
Yeah, no nomás
I'm not kidding.
Yeah, not just that, but I think that it has to do too with the fact that a lot of people are probably going through this, and I know I went through it. I'm going through it still, and it has to do with our parents. Not that we're ungrateful.
And not that it's their fault completely, because they were raised like that.
Yeah.
So it's not a super easy conversation talking about social pressures and getting married right away, or having to get married to live with your partner.
So a lo que me refiero, como por ejemplo, el día de que tú te vayas de tu casa es porque estás casada.
See,
am I wrong?
That's how we were raised.
And why is that?
Well, it's definitely because of religion, first and foremost. And secondly, because there are just it's a combination of religion and historical oppression of women.
Correct.
It's a fucking historical oppression of women. Women are vulnerable people. Women are seen as less than a man. Women historically have been treated less. Historically have been not given their equal place. Not even now.
Possession,
seen as property, all of these things. And us growing up and getting our education and growing up in a different social construct, we were given the liberty and the opportunity, more than anything, which is a fucking privilege, the opportunity to say, fuck that shit.
And also, here's another one that we want to touch on, and I guess we'll kind of like go from there and unfold from there. But another thought of mine is like, okay, if you're already in a marriage, some people are kind of forced to stay in the marriage because you're in the marriage.
I touched on this with one person that was, their parents were forcing her to go back to her husband who was abusive.
Correct.
And this is a very common story. Tú te casaste, tú te quedas. Aunque te trate como te trate, es tu marido y tú te quedas. That, I disagree with that 100 million %. I do believe in God. I do want to have a partner. I do want to have a fruitful life. But if a man were to ever hurt me, I just said this today too. Like if a man were to ever hit me, the motherfucker's dying. He's dying. Like
he's a goner. Whammer, you're a goner.
He's not breathing anymore. And I just said that with a passion. I didn't actually mean it. I'm not trying to self-incriminate myself.
She's a future lawyer. Keep that in mind.
But I was talking to my coworker about it. Mm-hmm. I was like, if someone were to ever, someone that you deeply love, trust, and confide, and you're giving your life and your soul to, mm-hmm. if they were to ever cross that line of disrespecting you and beating you, for me, being someone who's aspiring to be an independent woman, I'm an independent thinker, but I feel like I still have a ways away from being fully independent.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, dude, that's
no,
that's way back here, bro. Like that's settling way back there. Not settling. I'm not trying to say like settling, but that's way back here, bro.
Yeah. So, and I think that it has to do a lot with the fact that, like, for example, I wanted to touch base on both of those factors and kind of like relationships, right? Because that was another one that people suggested. Yeah. So I think that both of those go hand in hand.
Yeah.
So we'll start off, with the whole marriage and getting married and things like that. Now, growing up, that's all I ever wanted to do is, respect my parents and mm-hmm. follow their advice. Mm-hmm. If I'm moving out and getting married, is because of I've met my partner and that's who I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. However, often you see, divorce rates, are super high up there.
Yeah.
And they're saying, oh, and I don't mean to disrespect religion. I don't mean to disrespect any believers out there. I'm a believer myself.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times they say it's because they lack God in their presence, and that could be, as or it could also be a byproduct of being pressured into committing into a relationship.
Someone who just isn't the person for you.
Correct. How do you fully know a person if you haven't lived with them? To me, it's just mind blowing.
Yeah.
And sure, you can know somebody and know them.
I think that humans adapt. I think that people are humans naturally are adaptive creatures. For me, there's a lot of people that struggled with COVID, but I adapted to COVID. Like I'm an adapter.
We're humans. Your anatomy.
I adapt to my environment.
Adapt.
I don't mm-hmm. settle, but I do adapt when I have to. Right.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between that. But in terms of marrying someone, I definitely want to get to know this person extensively. Everybody has their own love story.
Yeah.
And I think it's very different, but there's that big number of people that are so not meant for each other and they're stuck.
Yeah.
They're stuck financially. They can't get out, women. And when women are stuck financially, they are more vulnerable and they could get beaten more, and they are more vulnerable to a number of different types of abuses, like mental, physical, emotional.
Correct.
All of these types of abuses.
And kind of where I stood, like my emotions. My emotions were more kind of like, I don't like that. I disagree. And I challenged, that way of being. A lot of the times you think that it has to do with the fact of, oh, well, it's religion, right? Es que, you're living in sin. And they kind of like plant this into your mind. If you're living with your partner, you're living in sin because you don't have God's blessing. You don't have this. And I'm only telling you because this happened in my household. This may not be in your household. This was in my household. And it's that like, you need God's blessing. You need God's blessing. And I understand that. But now that I realized a lot of the times when all of those things were written, when all of those things were created, when all of those things, they claim that it was God's will, but at the same time, it's like this was written so many years ago.
Yeah.
Like so many years ago where things were different.
Very different. I agree with that, but I also agree with like there's so many things that do, in terms of like religion, there's so many things that still do connect to today. Correct. And it's about the foundational like premises of what God wants in our lives. And it's for us to be happy, for us to find peace and love. God is love.
Correct.
For me, God is love. And there's a lot of people that, they have their own belief systems and stuff. But I think that the main thing is that in la comunidad latina, one of the biggest issues is that if someone, for starters, is not religious and they are socially pressured to be in a relationship because of their parents' religion, how do you deal with that? How do you get out of that?
It has to be like you have to give yourself respect, and your parents
you
need
have
to respect.
to love yourself and respect yourself.
And your parents need to respect.
And your parents need, that's where
huge.
you have to build that
huge.
line. You have to draw the line.
I actually, and I say this because I live with my boyfriend and we're not married and we have a house together and we have basically a life together. We're practically in what you would call a marriage.
Yeah.
But we don't choose, we're not married. And every time my dad gets a chance, not every single time, my dad, when he gets a chance, he'll be like, oh, so like, are you guys going to get married? Are you guys not going to get married? When are you guys going to get married? Yeah. And it's just like, that is like constantly being asked. And a lot of the times,
so you're being pressured.
Correct. A lot of the times, and I asked my dad, I'm like, have you even asked me what it is I want?
Yeah.
Have you even asked me if I want to spend the rest of my life with this man? I mean, of course I do, because I love my cheeky baby, and he knows that. But I mean, like, theoretically speaking, for somebody else, have you actually? Sorry, anyway, I just picked my nose for those listening. But anyway, so like, realistically speaking, have you actually asked me what I want to do in my life?
Yeah.
What my goals are, what my plans are?
Ni le ha preguntado si quiere perrear.
Exacto.
Y ella quiere ir al concierto de Bad Bunny.
Ya es miércoles y el cuerpo lo está sintiendo que ya se acerca el fin de semana.
Ay, qué
la ropa empieza un poco, like trying to take it out, starts to get a little loose, a little bit lower, a little bit shorter. You know what I mean? It's that time to perrear. You know what I mean?
Se le sube el colesterol.
Se me sube el colesterol. Yeah, but I mean, in all seriousness, like, think about that for a second. Like, if I actually want to, like, be in a relationship, do I even want to get married? And of course I do. And I mean, me and Christian have had multiple discussions
but that's
about,
between
like,
you and Christian.
Not everybody needs to agree. Like,
everybody needs to say, like, oh my God, they're living together. They're a boyfriend and girlfriend. I was going to say boyfriend and boyfriend. They're a boyfriend and girlfriend. They're living together. Oh my God. Like, what can their parents say? It's like, your parents aren't living your life.
Yeah.
You're living your life.
Yeah.
And I think the main premise that I want people to take from this is, whether you want to get married or you don't want to get married, I want to get married, and I want to spend the rest of my life with one person. I believe in monogamy, and I want to get married and spend the rest of my life with one person, that special person.
And you be solid together.
And build
a foundation.
Yeah, build a foundation. My fucking soulmate, whatever. But not everybody I want hella kids. Yeah. Not everybody wants fucking kids, bro. Like, and if people began to follow, if you're talking about scripture, if you followed more respecting each other, loving each other, helping each other find peace within yourself, that is more important to me and more religious than judging and pointing the finger and saying, she's fucking pregnant, she's not married. No. I don't go to church because soy santa. I go to church because I'm a sinner.
You're in the process of trying to better yourself, and I'm in the process of trying to human being.
Better myself and being a better human being. I ate meat on Fridays. There was some Fridays during La Cuaresma that I ate meat, but Pope Daddy Francisco was out here telling us that, yes, if you eat meat and if you disrespect someone, what is the point of you eating meat for God?
Exactly.
If you're going to be a piece of shit human being. And that's where my thing is. It's like, okay, si yo me enfoco en tratar a las personas con respeto, con decencia, con amor, con compasión, ponle, las personas no siempre te van a tratar no te van a regresar ese respeto.
But that's for you to, that's where you're a grown up.
And that's when I decide si es mi pedo o no es mi pedo. Y hay mucha gente, por decirlo muy así, a lo mero chingón.
Derecho y directo.
Derecho y directo. Si es, uno decide, este güey quiere empezar algo conmigo, ¿es mi bronca que me moleste yo que está hablando de mí? No. Para mí, no. If it's affecting, unless there is obviously exceptions. Like, I'm not also gonna dejar que me pisoteen y que hablen mierda de mí. sin que yo me pueda defender. Si yo me puedo defender, necesariamente lo voy a hacer if it's affecting my bag, my education, if it's affecting my career, if it's affecting my job, then yeah.
But if you're straight up just impacting you.
Yeah, exactly, directly. But if you're just talking shit to talk shit and judge me, oh my God, she's a preacher's daughter. Ella es una hija de un predicador y mira cómo habla y dice malas palabras. Behind closed doors, motherfuckers, you guys can do whatever the fuck you want. Truly. And nobody is going to judge you. So I'm going to act like nobody is watching me. I'm going to try and be authentic to myself.
Correct.
And I'm going to try to be my best.
Yeah.
And if my best is me saying motherfucker, then I'm going to say motherfucker. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't fucking care. My mom knows this. My dad knows this. And this is the beautiful relationship that I have with them. Yo digo malas palabras. Las malas palabras. Hay palabras. Hay palabras adecuadas y hay palabras inadecuadas. Yo no pienso que hay malas palabras.
Hay palabras que si le quieres echar pues la mala palabra, como dicen todos, por el efecto del statement de lo que estás tratando de decir, pues then you go right and fucking say it.
I think that language is a form of expression.
Correct.
I think that language is a form of expression, and when you're a passionate person, you're more prone to saying bad words because you're trying to convey something to someone in a passionate way. Needless to say, there is a time and a place for everything, inappropriate. I get that. But when we're talking about social constructs and when we're talking about this idea of getting married and, el qué dirán, no te preocupes del qué dirán. If you are religious, preocúpate de lo que tú estás haciendo.
Yeah,
de tus pensamientos, de cómo tú estás tratando a las personas.
Worry about you.
Worry about yourself.
Yeah.
And if someone if you're worried about el qué dirán, you're not investing any energy into yourself. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you're worried about el puto qué dirán,
when you're doing that, you're living your life based on other people's expectations and their thoughts. You're not doing you, honey boo boo.
People that don't even fucking matter, bro.
Correct. Like
people that aren't even worth your energy.
Here's the thing. When I went through a dark time in my life, everybody was more kind of like, oh no, like you got to fix things. Oh no, you got to go through this. Oh no, you have to do things. And somebody, said this to me, and she is one of my best friends' mom out in Texas.
Oh yeah.
And she just kind of sat me down, and she actually sat me down and she said, how do you feel?
Ooh.
And I told her, I feel this, I feel this, I feel this, and I feel frustrated because I have the pressures, and I have this, and I don't want to say it too soon, too prematurely, like all the details, because truly it's none of your business. But I told her exactly how I felt. Yeah. And my concerns and my worries. And she turned to me and she said, you need to worry about you and you need to take care of you.
Yeah.
She said, and she said to me, en la noche when you go to sleep, who are you going to bed with? Are you going to bed with them? Or are you going to bed with you and your partner? And I said, well, me and my partner.
Oh, them. I thought you meant them, your partner. I was like, bueno, en teoría a veces como que estoy me acostando con mi marido, pero a veces como que llega el lechero y con el lechero pues también a veces como que sí me acuesto con el lechero.
No hay pedo.
También el correo también como que sí me echa el ojito así y como que también me acuesto con el correo. No nos acostamos muy.
No. Like, are you going to bed with them? Like, as in like los que están hablando.
Are they paying your bills? No.
No.
And I feel like our parents don't understand that. I'm like, they don't pay your comadres don't pay your bills, ma.
Yeah.
My mom really doesn't have any comadres. She really doesn't.
Y pues en la verdad, al mismo tiempo digo, y si les doy algo de qué hablar, pues que hablen.
Pero también for me, it's like, ámense, quiéranse, respétense, valórate. My mom, our mothers are raising us to valorarnos, to querernos, to amarnos. Nos están criando para amarnos. Para ser personas, no todas, ¿verdad? Pero para amarnos, para valorarnos, para querernos. Y si tú estás permitiendo amistades en tu familia, en tu pinche familia, que te están criticando y se la pasan hablando de ti, eso no es quererte, eso no es respetarte. Dijo María Félix, and I quote, si lo amas, quédate con él. Si te amas, cámbialo por otro. So it's the same thing with friends and family. Si los amas, quédate ahí. y permite que te hablen mierda de ti, que te manipulen, que te digan cosas negativas de tus hijos, de tu familia. Si te amas, si amas a tu hija, si amas a tu marido, si amas a tu familia, there's women out there that will put el que dirán in front of their daughter's needs.
Yeah.
The same daughter and son that came out of their fucking vagina. Like, how, bro? For me, it's like my kids, once my kids come out, like I'm pray to, like, no, if I find someone eventually, I'm going to love my partner, but my kids are going to come first.
Yeah. And then with that being said, how do you feel, being in that position where it's like, I really can't do much about it because it's my mom and I don't want to disrespect her that way, or it's my parents.
Yeah.
And I really don't have a say because if I do, it's just going to create all this conflict.
Yes.
And I'm, it's thankfully my mom is very understanding whenever my dad says any of that. My mom is like, ya cálmate tú, like relax, they're going to do it at their time. Yeah. Pero I'm talking about like those who don't.
That's what's hard, you guys. Like, eso sí está bien pinche difícil.
Sí, porque me imagino que hay gente allá, like you guys,
out there.
Some of you guys have very understanding parents, which I'm very grateful and you're blessed,
I think, yeah.
And then there's some that are still very much like estrictos. And it's funny because I was watching Mariposa de Barrio, which is like the Jenny Rivera story. Es la pinche novela, ya me la estoy echando de Telemundo.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Esa nunca la vi.
It is. It's on Netflix.
I've never seen it. I'm
Mariposa de Barrio.
Bueno más.
No, I don't know the lyrics, to be honest. Pero y estaba viendo la novela y digo, no mames. O sea, dude, the way that people used to think and the way that people used to be, and just to think that just a few decades, 20, 30, even 40, 50 years back, that's truly how things were, where women would get cheated on.
And have to fucking stay, bro. And
eso
have
es cosa de hombres.
No tenían la oportunidad de valorarse, que es una pinche diferencia.
Yep.
Y ese es el puto coraje también que me da, que hay mucha gente. We are privileged because our mothers, they're adapting to us. Like my mother, I'm forcing her to adapt.
Yeah.
It's not like I was raised not to settle.
Mm-hmm.
And I am not pensándome que soy la pinche gran caca, ¿verdad?
Pero eres la gran caca.
Pero soy la gran mierda. No se crean. No se crean. Pero no me estoy diciendo que soy la gran caca, pero no me estoy dejando. Yo estoy tratando de encontrar mi camino. Obviamente, yo tengo una relación con Dios. Yo quiero ser la mejor versión de mí que yo puedo hacer. I know what I do. I know how I help my community. I know how I serve.
Yeah.
I know that. I don't need anybody else to know that. I don't need anybody else to know when I'm going to go do something. No, I don't. That's with me and my personal growth.
Correct.
But I think that what I'm trying to say about our privilege, you and I, and maybe some people have it, some people don't.
Yeah.
Es una relación profunda con nuestros padres.
Mm-hmm.
Y es una relación más allá del regaño, del te voy a obedecer, sí mamá, no papá, no. Es una relación de que soy cabrona y me voy a defender.
Creo que llega un punto...
And there's, like you said.
Que tú ya eres adulta y que la diferencia de self-respect and love towards your parents and respect towards them draws a line. And I think that there is a time where I had to draw a line, because it is very damn near borderline of like this idea that we are a family and your parents are always going to be family and you're always going to be their babies no matter what.
Yeah.
And I get that. But at the same time, you have to do you. You have to build you. How can you... Like you need to go out there and go through a process of getting to know you without mommy and daddy.
That is what I'm going through right now, bro. And let me tell you, every motherfucker needs to do that because there's people that get out of their parents' house and they go straight into a marriage. And
when you don't even fucking know yourself.
And you don't even know yourself. And you're pressured. Society is pressuring your parents and your parents are pressuring you. And you have this, you obviously you respect your parents, you love your parents, and not everybody has the privilege of standing up to their parents.
Yeah.
En la cultura mexicana, no todos tienen ese privilegio.
Sí.
Hay personas that are not, que el papá, yo pago todo, yo esto, yo provengo. We talked about parenting, now we're talking about the social construct. It's very difficult. What I guess the main point that I am trying to convey, and I think you would agree, is learn to respect yourself and love yourself. And
Correct.
That is not a very fast journey. That is a journey that you're going to go on for a long fucking time,
and
bro.
There are going to be times where maybe your parents are going to guilt trip you.
Yeah, my mom does that.
When
she loves that.
you are going to, and I'm not saying, like I said, I'm grateful. I've been incredibly blessed with my parents, but I'm trying my best to put myself in other people's shoes to try to, also understand other aspects. When you are choosing to do you and your parents try to guilt trip you and telling you that you're disrespecting them, when you know very damn clearly you are not, because there is also a time where you may be disrespecting them.
Yeah,
and that's a whole different
definitely
thing.
That's a whole different story. But I think the people that we're trying to address are the people that are just trying to grow and do their thing, superarse, salir adelante, echarle ganas. Because like I said, when I mentioned it to you guys, that I yelled at my mom and my dad, and I was like, you guys are privileged for having us being, you are going to have 5 bachelor's degrees, 5 college degrees on your fucking wall one day. And it's close. And that is one of the biggest flexes for an immigrant. Yeah. Que tu familia, que tus hijos se superen. And in my personal experience, it's like, you guys, no se conforman. O sea, we are doing our best. Obviously, there's those kids who are just, disrespectful, huevones. Entitled. They think that they're above everybody else. We're not talking about those. We're not talking about those people, bro. We're talking about, when we talk here, we want to talk about growth. We want to talk about superándonos. We want to talk about, getting our bag and, superándonos mentalmente. Claro. Y no todos tienen la capacidad para escucharnos y decir, tienen razón. Hay gente que va a decir, no mames, like, who the fuck are they to judge me? No, if you feel like you're being judged by us, that is, first of all, not our intention. Yeah. And second of all, you should take that moment. Oh my God, why are they saying that? They don't even fucking know. Like, da-da-da-da-da. No.
And if you're one of those people, I encourage you to
judged, that you feel judged, you need to self-reflect. Yeah. Why do I feel this way? Why do I feel personally attacked? Yeah. Because let me tell you something. I am no motherfucking Regina George, bitch. I'm not Regina George.
On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
I don't wear pink ever. Like, dead ass. Like, I don't wear pink ever.
Fuck, today is Wednesday. I didn't wear pink.
Today is Wednesday. Se casa la patrona. Ay, qué pachangona. No voy a trabajar. Pero la verdad, neta, hablando claro, we love being here. Like I said, this is something that really benefits my mental health. It's something that I, being able to have a conversation and publicize and share our thoughts is a very healthy thing for me. Yeah. And when people were, there's so many different scenarios, experiences, families, all these types of cultures estatales, güey. O sea, tienes México, tienes la cultura mexicana, pero tienes la cultura de rancho, tienes la cultura de ciudad, tienes la cultura... Los fresas, los nacos, all of this shit, right? Yeah. Tienes culturas súper diferentes en cada estado de México.
El estatus, oh my God. Estatus social. Everything about like brand, status,
high. Why do you say that? Tell me why you say that. Because do you have a personal experience with that type of
because
I've never been exposed to that. You have. So talk
I grew
about
up
that.
out there, till I was 11 years old. So I could only share so much because I was a kid, But out there, status matters. Like, si tienes dinero, especially like I seen it when I lived in El Paso and living next to Juarez. Everybody likes to have that like brand.
Yes.
Que tienes el buen carro, que si no tienes esto, fíjate que, yo me compro esto, lo de la moda, que todas las de Ciudad Juárez se venían a comprar ropa al Paso, que lo compré en El Paso y que no sé qué y no sé cuánto. Like, everything is all about like a social standard out
Yo
there.
Acá con mi camisa de Comisión Federal Federal, que es si no saben lo que es la Comisión Federal, it's the Mexican version of PG&E, but it's like pretty much monopolized. I think it's all over Mexico.
Yeah.
It's over here, pendeja.
I was like...
Comisión Federal, it's like the PG&E of Mexico, but it's kind of like Telcel. It's monopolized. So I think there's only one. I think there's maybe two or three around the whole country. And you're talking about marcas, and I'm like, bitch, I got a fucking Comisión Federal shirt, puro México.
No, que es el Christian Louis Vuitton.
Puro yo te tiro, tú me tiras, yo te tiro.
Sí, y que tienen que ser como Gucci y todo esa madre.
I think that's okay. If you work hard and you want to wear Gucci and you want to wear Balenciaga and you can afford it, that's okay.
Pero ellos lo hacen para aparentar.
Pero just be true to yourself.
To maintain...
I personally don't want to surround myself with people that aren't being true to themselves or trying to be true to themselves.
Correct.
Because I'm trying to fucking be true to myself. Yep. And if I'm around people that are not doing that, then motherfucker, I'm not going to be true to myself.
You're not that kind of vibe. You don't pass the vibe check.
I said it before and I'll say it again. My priority is not to have a fucking Gucci bag or Balenciaga bag. My priority is to have a fucking house and a place to live for my kids.
Yeah.
My goal number one in life is to be at peace, find peace with God, find peace within myself, be loved by God and love God equally, and have kids.
But tying this back to all of that,
the social construct.
When you leave your house and you go off and let's say you do the traditional way where you leave your house and then you get married and then now you have to share, you never get a chance to live your own life because you're always under your parents' roof.
Yes.
And then now you're under your partner's roof.
Well, there's one exception to that: education. Right? So there's so many young people que se van a la universidad, and I think that's the one exception.
No, but I'm talking about like in a scenario, let's just say following like this example per se.
Yeah.
You don't really get a chance to truly get to know you. So how can you offer you to a partner or somebody else that you so choose want to live the rest of your life with if you don't even know you? If you don't actually know who you truly are, your wants, your likes, that you know what, I don't think I can ever tolerate this. I don't think I can ever live with anybody that does this. Why? Because you never got a chance to know your space, know you. How are you resilient when
I think there's a very, very small population of people that they do jump into something quick and a marriage quick, and they're soulmates. My parents are that example. Right? So my parents, these motherfuckers are soulmates. They're one. Like they got married. One.
There's some instances when you know.
Yeah, when you know exactly. So I totally agree with that. I disagree with the idea of pressuring someone, first of all, to stay in a toxic relationship
if they don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Secondly, to get into a relationship when they don't feel like they're ready.
Yep.
And for example, my parents, they met at the church, through the church. They started dating 3 months into their dating phase. My mom was called back to Mexico by my grandpa. And my grandpa's like, you're not going back. You were going to go be a monjita and now you're not a monjita and you're not going back. I was like, she was like, what the fuck? And so she calls my dad. She's like, hey, so I can't go back, but if you want to be with me, you can marry me. She literally proposed to my dad. And my dad came, he went and got his parent, my abuelita and my abuelito, came to Jalisco, asked for her hand. They planned the wedding. They got married, and they have had a lot of difficulties and struggles. And had it not been had God not been in the picture, in my personal experience, had God not been the foundation to at least one of the partners, my dad, mostly.
Yeah.
So my mom is a believer. My mom believes in God. She's all about that life, right? But my dad is like right there.
Yeah.
So had it not been for God being that strong foundation of love, peace, compassion, empathy, understanding. Todos los principios hermosos que nos enseñan y que es Dios, they would not be together right now.
Because that was their guide. That was their path to success. That is what taught them how to love each other, how to deal with issues that los que se enfrentaban entre ellos mismos.
That was,
back then,
their therapy.
It was like all ignorance. No había, there was barely any cell phone communication.
Education. Fucking physical, mental, emotional, mental health, education.
Correct.
I still know fucking parents that don't even believe in depression.
Yeah. So then the beauty that your parents experienced was getting together and finding a way to fight adversity, fight against the waves, and pick up their kids and really find the, la unidad is what I'm trying to say.
I think I was laughing when I said depression because when people and I think that so many Latinos and Latinas like us can relate to this, but mainly women, because los muchachos casi no los ponen a trapear ni a barrer, ¿verdad?
I know, what the fuck?
Hijos de la chingada, pinches culeros. Pinches babosos huevones que nomás sacan la basura. No, no se crean. No se crean. Pero, a veces. Pero I was just talking to my coworker, and a part of this fruitful conversation was a very big connection between, our Latin culture and all that stuff. And she was like, yeah, parents don't even believe in depression. Like, you tell your mama, tengo depresión, estoy agüitada. Ponte barriga de la chingada.
Que depresión y que nada.
Trapea toda la pinche casa a ver si vas a sentir depresión, cabrona. Vete a piscar uva o vete a echarle ganas a trabajar a ver si sientes la depresión, cabrona. Vas a sentir una buena chinga, pero la depresión se te va a salir por el sudor.
I think that what they knew back then, that it was a thing. They just didn't know what it was. I think that
they distracted their mind with so much fucking labor.
Correct. And literally they just kept their mind busy, kept their mind occupied, and they didn't know what it was. They didn't know how it worked. But so all they knew is that if you go to work, it keeps your mind busy and you don't go down this hole. And so then therefore that's what you do. And so then therefore they don't.
And I think I really do believe that there's a lot of people that struggle for mental health issues. And hey, I'm no expert and I'm no psychologist, but when you're struggling for mental health, there are issues that you really have to dive deep and address, right? Yeah. There are issues that you really need to solve. But a lot of, depressive personalities, it's people that are isolated. It's people that are lonely.
Yeah.
And when you remove isolation and loneliness from your life and you input friendships, socializing, keeping your mind busy, being at work.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, when I was, the happiest moments of my life have been either socializing or at work, comadreando with all of my coworkers. Like, that is for me.
Yeah.
And ¿cuál depresión? So in an aspect,
it's just about finding your niches and what kind of gets you out of that. And it's all a process of you getting to know you and what works for you, because what works for you may not work for me. Right.
Yeah. What works for me, and you and I are very, very similar.
Yeah.
Right. And we have our different belief systems, and I love the fact that, we're very similar, but we're also very different too. We're more similar than different. But needless to say, we always respect each other's opinion.
Oh, I'm always going to tell you how I feel.
And she will always tell me how she feels.
Straight up.
And she will always be straight up with me. But at the end of the day,
I always go down to, what do you feel? Yeah. What do you want? Because here's what I think.
What do you want?
Because this is what I think, okay? And I think this, and I think this, and I think that. Am I wrong? Or am I right? Or
she's usually right. But I think it just takes life to teach me.
Exactly. But to
anybody wondering what I'm drinking, it's Clos du Bois. Clos du Bois. I don't know how to pronounce this. How do you pronounce this?
Clos du Bois.
Sorry, perdón. Merci beaucoup. No sé qué vergas dije, pero merci beaucoup.
Clos du Bois.
Clos du Bois. Clos du Bois, it's French. It's made in it's a Chardonnay from California, 2018. Hand-selected lots. Hand-selected by Mexicans or Hispanics. No, Latinos. Sorry. Hand-selected by
Latinos.
Immigrants, most likely undocumented immigrants from the Northern Triangle or Mexico, the Northern Triangle being El Salvador, Guatemala, y Honduras. Shout out to all my Central American people. We love you. I love Central Americans. I really do. They're fucking.
Me too.
They're built different. Mexicans are very arrogant, and I love being Mexican. I'm so proud, but Mexicans are low-key, sometimes arrogant, and I think Guatemaltecos and Hondureños and Salvadoreños, they're more humble in a lot of different aspects. So shout out to all of you who picked the grapes for this vino. It is from Clos du Bois, Acampo, California. Clos du Bois. It's en Acampo, California, pero me imagino que está, en teoría, fueron latinos los que piscaron la uva. Así es que, salud.
Salud para todos.
Y a la winería, ojalá que les den gracias a los latinos que piscaron su uva, culeros. A ver si nos promueven. Clos de Bois.
Clos de Bois.
Okay. Y así no se sirve el wine, ¿verdad? Bueno, sí se sirve, because I did catering. Se sirve así. Se mete el dedito así. Pero no se toca y no se tira. Porque si se tira, se te acaba la propina, no te la dan. Pero I did catering and I'm going to do catering again porque maldita pobreza. Tenemos que pagar los boletos de Bad Bunny. ¿Ya salieron?
Claro, ya salieron.
¿Los viste?
Sí.
Qué pinches caros. No mames. I'm just kidding. Okay, but getting back to it. Sorry, we had a little pause there, a little distraction. Getting back to it, you guys. I think that if anybody can take anything from today.
Yeah.
Es que se amen y se respeten.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a lot. That is a lot to ask of someone.
Yeah. And
that is a lot to ask. Sorry.
No.
That is a lot to ask of someone who has been raised to respect your parents, to follow their orders, to obedecerles para que te vaya bien, all of this stuff. And there was a big part of my life that, si no me obedeces, te va a ir mal. No, I called my parents out. When I started studying the Bible and, getting to know God and building my relationship with God, motherfucker, I took that shit as a weapon. Everything I was learning.
She's like, I'm going to fucking armor myself.
I armored myself with scripture and I took it as a weapon and I said, hold on. You are raising me to go and live a life by God, with God, for God. And you are not reflecting or you are not showing me that. Si me desobedeces, te va a ir mal. Okay, why are you maldiciéndome? You're putting that energy maldita onto me. I'm not even being a rebel like that, bro. Like for me, it's like,
That's not truly desobedecer.
I'm not even like desobedeciéndoles. There's a difference between la desobediencia de algo bueno y crear una línea verdadera entre, okay, you guys cannot be so controlling. I think there's a very big correlation between you have to obey me and you're being too controlling. Dude, no.
Yeah.
You are going to be your own person. Your parents aren't going to be in your life forever.
Correct.
There's people that don't even fucking have parents.
And what I wanted to say earlier is that if you remember that if in the path of you trying to give yourself some respect, it does not mean that you're disrespecting anybody else.
Yourself. She said yourself.
Yourself. Does not mean that you're disrespecting anybody else, okay? That's all I gotta say.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all I gotta say.
Okay. ¿Cómo le decía Finn? Okay.
What?
Finn, el
vecino.
Vecino.
Yeah,
Finn,
but I don't remember him
Finn
saying
would come
all
up
I remember
to you.
is it this? Okay.
You would be talking. This guy, I love him to death. He's like my little brother. My brother's best friend. He really developed his own personality, bro. Like,
he did.
Fito is such a leader, but this kid really developed his own personality. And then
he's just like, hey,
him and my
up?
brother, like right there. But he would come up to me, like really close to me, like, okay, and just be like, okay, but okay,
okay.
hella weird, right? But we love you, Finn. You're never gonna see this because you're a bitch, but we love you. Just kidding, small sack. Remember, we said small sack.
Yeah, but that's basically all I have for today as far as my thoughts go. And
yeah. I think that's,
I mean, to be honest, like you don't.
Para serles sinceros, yeah.
Sí, porque yendo ahí, if you want to open up further and go into more specifics, we're just going to get into
like a situational basis, and we're not here to fucking address that. We're just here.
Yeah.
We asked, the poll was this. We are addressing that poll.
Yeah.
And I think the main thing is que se amen, que se respeten, que si tienen una relación con Dios, es más valiosa tu relación con Dios que tu relación con tu pareja. Because if you have a strong relación con Dios, motherfucker, you're gonna have a stronger relación con tu pareja.
Yeah. And if both of you are on the same page.
And if both of you are on the same page. And if you're an atheist, or if you don't believe in God, or, you know, if you don't have a relationship with God, or if you don't and you want to, or you don't and you don't want to, then love yourself, respect yourself.
Yeah.
Understand that compassion and empathy exist for a reason.
Yep.
That we thrive on finding inner peace. Mm-hmm. Because when you have inner peace, you're not fucking worried about what Gina is doing down the block.
That is correct.
You're not worried about what fucking Rigoberto is doing, you know, with his, you know, with his fucking life. Family in his life. Right? So I think the main premise is ámense, quiéranse, valórense. Si lo amas, quédate con él. Si te amas, búscate otro. Obviamente si te maltrata. Si te trata bien y lo amas, pues pendeja, no seas bueno, lo sueltes.
You know, sí, o sea, there's no times where, okay, you really gotta figure yourself out and actually really sit there and figure it out. You know what I mean? Because that's the beauty about once you get to know you and what you're capable of and what you bring to the table, then you also learn to value because you know how much it takes for someone to get there. And then now you know what they bring to the table and how the both of you can work as a team. And then when you crash and when there's all of these indifferences, it's not about just, because I actually heard this and it bugs me when people say that, it's because I just got married because if I felt like if I didn't have the title, I could just throw the towel at any moment because it would just be easier. What I want to say to that person is like, so what you're telling me is that you already are coming into a relationship.
Throw the towel how?
Like, so like, let's just say that Christian and I are not married, right?
Yeah.
And we've been not married for a very long time because we decided that we don't want to get married. Oftentimes, the ones who want to get married that are maybe perhaps in that situation is because they might say, it's because I feel like if I didn't have that title, I would just like, any time that I wanted to just get up and leave, I felt like there was no commitment there because we weren't married, and I felt like I could just it would be a lot easier to pack up my stuff and leave.
Why are you thinking about leaving if you're trying to be with someone for the rest of your life? If you are ever considering leaving, you need to reevaluate your fucking relationship.
Because I guess it makes it a lot harder for you to go through the legal paperwork of going through the divorce. So therefore, now you think that it's a lot easier to just remain in the relationship and remain unhappy for the rest of your life.
That's a red flag.
When I heard that, I was just like, it makes absolutely no sense because guess what?
Sign a prenup.
Yeah, like
sign a fucking prenup. I want to sign a prenup.
Not even a prenup. I think because they don't have anything.
If you really want to throw in the towel, sign a prenup and you can get divorced amicably, quick.
Pero
don't fucking complicate your life.
Si el prenup no es necesario porque no necesariamente tiene nada que defenderse. O sea, o sea, tú que a los 20, 22 no tienes pinche casa, apenas si tienes un carro, una pinche carcacha que te lleva penitas, llega al trabajo.
Mi carcacha, una bula.
I know, exactly.
¿Por qué me tratas así, güey? No me tires pedra.
You hear saying all this shit. No, don't feel attacked, güey. Look at yourself in the mirror.
I feel attacked porque soy pobre pero humilde. Oye, fíjate, soy pobre pero feliz.
Sí, güey. Eso
bueno,
el 100.
Bueno, a veces soy feliz. No a veces. Quiero ser feliz siempre.
Yeah.
Y estoy tratando de alcanzar la felicidad.
Claro.
Pero ir a ser pobre es algo bien hermoso porque compañías y ser CEO, ser business, ser esto, ser el otro, es una puta presión que te pones encima también.
Oh, yeah.
But, oh my God, I don't know if I sent you that TikTok. But, there was this guy, he's like, I'm going to teach you guys how to weld, and I'm going to teach you guys how to weld to make some fucking money. And if you think that, if you have friends that tell you that money isn't everything, that's what broke people tell broke people to feel better. And I was like, oh my God, I was crying for like fucking 2 hours crying.
It is. It's the truth because you do you.
So my broke ass is telling your broke ass, hey, money isn't everything, but that's just so I can feel better. I really hope you guys laughed at that.
But in theory, to me, it makes absolutely no sense because when you are in a relationship, you need to first think about, and that I feel like this could be something that could be talked about in the next episode, relationships, which, you know, I kind of wanted to build.
I have
that
no experience with relationships because I've never been in a serious relationship. But the most serious relationships that I've had are with friends and family, so I could definitely give input there.
Yeah.
But romantically, no.
Pues es que como ya lo clarificamos, we're not fucking experts here. We're not experts in the field. We're just here giving you our best of our best opinion and concrete thought based on what we know facts.
Based on how we were raised, and we were raised in the country on 3 acres in Tita, California. And we were both raised there because when she crossed the border and came from Mexico over here, she landed in Tita, California with us on 3 acres of ranch property.
That is correct.
So if you motherfucking Trumpies out there, you ever want to tell us to go back to our country, we were born in the country. Rare.
What she said.
I'm going to call Carol Baskin on you motherfuckers.
Carol Baskin.
I'm going to call Carol Baskin on any of you motherfuckers that are disrespectful to our race. AKA racistas.
Then we'll feed you to the tigers.
I'm going to feed you to the tigers. Hey, Mexicans have hella tigers. Speaking of fucking tigers.
They do.
I will feed you to the fucking drug dealers who will feed you to the tigers, motherfuckers.
O sus perros también.
Y los pinches narcos, güey. Los narcos, they don't fuck around. They'll cut your tongue out. They'll cut your dick off before you're even dead. So they'll make you suffer. And then they will feed you to the tigers.
That got a little intense and a bunch of pictures in my mind.
I'm just...
But realistically speaking, bringing it back.
Bringing it back. Yeah, bringing it back.
And to kind of wrap up, I wanted to say that, you know, the fuck, I just lost my train of thought. What were we talking about?
Ámense, quiéranse, cuídense. Como dijo María Félix, si lo amas, regresa con él.
¿Cuál era?
Si te amas, búscate otro. Otros 2 o 3 o 4 que te mantengan, prima. Ay, no te creas.
Sí, I know I was trying to say something. I know I was on.
Sorry,
about marriage and toda esa madre. Sí, pues es que la mera neta, o sea, when I heard that, I guess I just wanted to say that no, because I do believe, I said all of that to tell you guys that I do also believe that when you are in a relationship, regardless of whether you have there is a marriage or not, it's not about throwing the towel. It's about figuring it out together, and it's about sticking with each other and loving each other. And
it's
like you're in a fucking marriage without the fucking title, because you don't need a quote unquote, oh, here we're married, now we gotta do this. No, it's like you gotta do that regardless.
Yeah, I feel like a marriage is like you playing in the Super Bowl and you're on a team and you're losing on that team in the Super Bowl, and at that moment you want to jump onto the other team, or you want to get out of that team and you want to get drafted by another team. Motherfucker, you can't do that. Nope. If you committed yourself to this relationship, then do your fucking best. And if you lose that Super Bowl, then you lose that fucking Super Bowl. You know that you
were the one who went down fighting, and you gave it your all.
Exactly. Do your fucking best. Give it your fucking all. Sorry for the French. Give it your all. And if you do lose and it really doesn't work out for you, then you can move on. Then you can get drafted. Yep. Right?
Then you can just be like, I did it.
You know in your heart and in your core that you did your best. Correct. Y eso es que yo no he estado casada ni con
I don't think it takes...
Baby. Eso es que yo no tengo la experiencia que tienen las otras
like mujeres. How she's saying, I don't think it takes for you to be in a relationship for you to truly understand that part. Because guess what?
Yeah, no, it does not. Because
it is what it is. You know, whether you're in a marriage or whether you're not in a marriage, you should always fight until the point, and both of you need to give it your all.
I have been surrounded by so many relationships in my life, my parents, my family, my cousins, my friends, and there have been like toxic relationships, like with friendships, and stupid relationships with like young kids that I see. I'm like, they're 15 years old and they're in a relationship. It's dumb. And like, you know, just so many things. And so it doesn't really,
I think that's going to be our next episode.
I will go through my process when I have to go through my process, but like you don't need to be in a full-blooded relationship. You do need to understand and to really, really, really know, but to have a comprehensive understanding of loving yourself, respecting yourself. I'm not waiting, but I'm working on myself. So I genuinely don't think que estoy lista.
Sí. Pero, I mean, you're never going to be ready for anything.
You're never going to be ready, bro. I think it just takes...
You have to just go through it.
It just, yeah.
I was actually having this conversation with my psychologist, and I was telling her, you know, it's because I don't think I'm ready for kids. I don't know if I'm ready for marriage. This was going back, you know, some time ago.
Yeah.
And she just says, Michelle,
when she wanted to marry me, she was like doubtful. And she was like... because my cousin wants to marry me and I don't think I'm ready to get married to my cousin, and like she wants to have kids. It's like, how are we gonna have kids? Like, we're gonna take it. No, it's not. It's not. Women can have kids now.
No, like biologically,
yeah, because we could, you know, but it's like, how are we gonna extract the bone marrow from like her and me because we're cousins? It's like, we can't do it. Yeah. But
those would be pretty as kids, not gonna lie.
And motherfucker, they would be healthy kids too. Not physically, but like mentally, like we would be like, how are you feeling? You good? You just yelled at me for no reason, you dumb bitch. Like, you good?
Yeah, right.
Fuck, I want to raise my kids like Bretman Rock. Like, I want to be like Bretman Rock. He's my
goals,
spirit animal.
Huh?
Goals. Metas, way.
Metas. No, but in all seriousness, like, you know, I lost my train of thought again.
In all seriousness, we fucking love you guys. We appreciate you guys so much.
Oh, that's going to be
tuning in every weekend.
Our topic.
And we will be talking about relationships in our next
and that you're never
topic.
Truly, that's what it is. I remembered that you're never truly ready for anything. You just kind of have to go through it and learn when it's your time, it's going to happen.
You're never truly ready to sacar las chichis. Sácalas y dejas que todos la vean.
Exactly. Exactly. No, just do it. Fuck it.
Just do it. Fuck it.
Do it.
And if you fall, get up.
Lo único, y cuando veo a veces, I follow this guy who I talked about his video the last time, and I shared it in the description for the last video.
Podcast
he
episode,
says, podcast episode. He says something. He always starts his video with like, boom, te vas a morir. So it's like, and he goes on and he talks about life and whatever the topic is. But I think that there's one thing that the message that he's trying to say is like,
You're gonna die. You're gonna die, motherfucker.
So live your life. Love yourself.
If you died tomorrow, could you honestly say, like, DMX, RIP DMX, he just passed away. But there was an interview right before he died that said, if I died, soon, I lived a happy life. Yeah. And this motherfucker was in prison for tax fraud. Like, they got this motherfucker for tax fraud and they put him in prison for hella long. And el pobre vivió mucha parte de sus últimos años de su vida en prisión for tax fraud when there's Donald Trump paid $750 in fucking taxes and he didn't fucking go to jail. But anyways, that's besides the point. If you die tomorrow, did you live your best life?
Yeah.
So it's cliche, but it's the fucking truth. So, like, if I died tomorrow, I could say, maybe I didn't find the love of my life, or maybe I didn't find myself. Maybe I didn't, esto, lo otro. Maybe I didn't have kids like I wanted, but I lived my best life because I lived a life with purpose.
Correct.
And not everybody is there yet.
Yeah.
So
I think that's definitely going to be a topic that we're probably going to be leading into our next.
I think that we should have a couple on, and I have an idea of who. If you feel in your heart that it's you, I want to have a couple on here next episode to talk about relationships. You're in a relationship, and Christian can totally be in this next episode, but I want to have a couple, and we'll talk about it off camera, but I want to have a specific couple to come and talk to us about their relationship.
A ver qué va.
Stay tuned. Stay fucking tuned. Okay, guys, we love you guys so much. Like, follow, subscribe, share it. We're not making any fucking money off this. We're living our best lives. So
we want to make money.
We want to make money. Sacando las chichis. No se crean. No, but seriously, share it to a friend.
Yeah.
Please,
spread
if you guys spread the love. If you took anything good from it, share our podcast to a friend. And hopefully it can help them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
We love you guys.